The Bellarmine Award each year is given to a deserving alumnus who meets 3 criteria. Those are number 1, excellence in the legal field, number 2, commitment to Judeo-Christian principles in their practice of the law, and number 3, dedicated service to Saint Ignatius High School, their alma mater. And I can tell you that this year the Bellarmine Committee had no doubt in their mind that Ed Mullin was a deserving recipient of the award, as he certainly meets all 3 of those criteria and is a proud alumnus of Saint Ignatius High School.
Ed started his professional career in law enforcement, and he always rose to the top. He was a patrolman at first. He took the merit-based exam, finished first for sergeant, took the merit-based exam for lieutenant, finished first, and he did this while he was going to law school. I believe Ed was chairperson of the Bellarmine Committee for about a decade. He administered that duty very well. I don't know how he does it, but he always seems, through sheer grit and determination, to do the right thing and to come out on top. And that, I think, is the residue of his hard work and his deep faith, I might add.
Anyone who knows my dad knows that he is the biggest of believers in Ignatius and Jesuit education generally. His favorite Teddy Roosevelt line talks about the man in the arena, and in a lot of ways, that's what my dad does every day. He's in the arena of our profession, in court. It's a really tough profession. My dad's phone doesn't ring with easy questions. Every day feels like a contest. You'll be judged, you might lose, there's another case coming, but he taught me from a really young age that it's a rewarding profession, and really there's no higher calling. I've really watched him move the needle for people in this community.
Ed is a supportive man. If you have a need, he'll rise to it. I always felt I could call him. He always wants to represent a person in need. If you see Ed's picture in the plain dealer, it's because he's got a defendant who's in trouble and probably doesn't have much money. And that's Ed. He keeps pressing for justice for individuals, especially people who are, find it hard. And that's what I like about him. He really helped my niece in her time. So I can speak to that from personal experience.
He can end up often going to Mass 3 times a week. First, he goes to a lot of funeral masses, and that's on a Saturday morning often. Then, of course, we do our Saturday night vigil for Sunday. And then the next morning, get off to the former Little Sisters of the Poor and help have that Mass every Sunday. He often does that. And if we have a wedding to go to, well, then we're going 4 times in a weekend. He's very devoted.
They have a lot of good leaders in our class, but Ed has always been the one that has looked over our religious well-being. A lot of people say, he's a man for others, but I would even take it a step farther and say, borrow from something I heard the other day, that he's really a man with others, because he never holds himself above anybody else. In terms of his charity giving, he's worked a lot with Little Sisters of the Poor, have helped them, and he's just done a tremendous job in terms of getting people back on their feet, getting people, actually getting justice, if that's not an overused term.
There's the story of Susanna in the book of Daniel. It's sort of a biblical cross-examination. Susanna is wrongfully accused, she's blackmailed, and Daniel steps in and confronts her accusers. And I always think of my dad there, because that's really what he does every day. He stands up for people, he sticks up for people, and he tells people's story, and there's really nobody better at it.